Lahat na.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Rotary Club LaGrange. Appreciate you making Rotary a priority this week. We're glad to be with you. I know some of you are on spring break, just a few of you. Most of us don't have a spring break anymore. But we're glad you're here. We have a great program today, really interesting organization. It's kind of a mix of horses and gardening and outdoor adventure and reading and just a lot of great things. So I'm looking forward to you all hearing about that. So first, let's start with an invocation. I'll ask Martha Allred to say her invocation, and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father in heaven, we acknowledge your greatness and thank you for the many blessings of life, especially for the privilege of this fellowship and the worthy purposes for which we come together from week to week. Make us mindful of the need for your direction in our lives. We pray for your continued blessings on each of us in this Rotary gathering and on the meal before us. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Martha.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Council, please come up and introduce our guest.
It is my pleasure to introduce our guests. Please stand when your name is called and remain standing until all names have been introduced. Our first guest is Corey Ross, guest of April. Can you hear me? Oh, April Ross. My phone is, can you hear me? The next guest is Gail Gordon, guest of John Harrell. Michael Rask, guest of Joe Ragland. Alvin Weeks, guest of Susan Ferguson. Sabrina Allen, guest of Karen Thompson. Dana Justice, guest of our guest speaker, Dina Little. And lastly, we have Jane Plagans, guest of John Harrell. Welcome.
Thank you. We're really glad to have all you with us. Come back. Love to have you anytime. If you're interested in joining the club, please talk to one of our members. We'd love to have you. So we do have some birthdays to mention. Jeff Higgins' birthday is on April 4th, tomorrow. We don't have any club member anniversaries, but we do have a couple of wedding anniversaries. Dwayne Fuller has a 5-year anniversary. Barbara Hannigan, where's Barbara? Barbara? 42 years. That's fantastic. That's wonderful. So we do have a couple of club announcements I want to mention to you. First, I'd like to ask Scott Land if he would come up and talk to us about the 5K. Scott?
John Harrell. Okay, so I hope you all remember, maybe some of our new members might not, what we did last September. How many people ran or helped out in some way with our Rotary 5K, celebrating our 100th anniversary? Okay, so you're going to keep your hands up because you're all going to do it again. So this is what John and I want to do, is introduce you to Rotary 5K 2024. Or 101, right?
101.
September 21st of the end of the summer. So we'll be looking for or putting together a committee to help out, do all those chores that many of you did last year. And we had a lot of volunteers. We had a lot of volunteers with materials as well as hands-on help. We're going to need that again. So sometime in the next couple of weeks, I'll be putting out sign-up sheets, and you can sign up to help. And John's here to talk about why we do it. What's the benefit?
Well, we've embraced literacy as our local cause. I know we embrace polio worldwide. Our literacy in Troup County in Georgia and in LaGrange is not where it needs to be. And we won't provide the service delivery. We have literacy programs here. This year, the $10,000 that we raised in 2023, we have allocated for 5 different local agencies that work with literacy in our community. We need to do the same this year. So in September, we'll hopefully beat our 10,000 from last year as our net, and we'll be able to continue to contribute to literacy efforts in Troup County. Thank you for all of your support.
Thank you guys for leading this. Again, we raised $10,000 and we want to beat that this year. Scott and his committee and John, they work really hard on the front end, but for most of us, you know, it's a morning. It's an easy volunteer experience and it's really pleasant. So please make plans to be part of that. Want to remind you all that we are considering a GRSP student for the year ahead. So if you're interested in being a host family, let Mayor Connie know. Wonderful program, great kids that you get to be around. Carlton's been a host family this year. He can tell you about what's involved with that. I want to remind everybody, we have a social at Wild Week coming up on April 15th. So if you haven't already RSVP'd to Kelsey, please do that or let her know in some way. Want to try to get a head count. We're going to have pizza, wings, and beverages. So pretty simple, but I'd love to have you there. Maybe it's better with you there. Happy Dollars. I know we have at least one, maybe more. Randy? Carlton, don't you have a Happy Dollar?
What? No, I don't.
I loan you a dollar.
You loan me a dollar?
It's been since 1983 since the Wolfpack were in the Final Four. Come on.
Well, I am very happy. I am happy to be here. And I'm happy to give a big shout out to West Georgia, Wellstar West Georgia Health System. Some of you don't know this, but last Friday, I had a heart attack. About 5:30 in the afternoon, my wife was trying to kill me by making me do yard work, and I had a real bad chest pain. Like everybody else, I just ignored it, and it kind of went away. But about 9 o'clock, it came back, and it wouldn't go away. About 11 o'clock, I walked into Wellstar, and I said, I think I'm having a heart attack. And within 5 minutes, they were doing an EKG. And about 5 minutes later, they came up with a wheelchair and got me in and said, you're going on a trip. And I went on a trip. They took me to one of the exam rooms. The first nurse in said, you're fixing to have a lot of friends. And within just 2 or 3 minutes, there was at least 6 or 8 people and they were working on it. This is when I realized that it was serious. And I really realized it was serious too when they said, you got to get your pants off, but I have 2 strange women pulling my pants off. A couple other strange women sticking needles in my arms and more sticking stickers all over my body. But they got me ready, and probably not too long after midnight, I met Dr. Rajiv in his group in the cath lab. I had almost 100% blockage in the right coronary artery and 40% on the left side. They did the catheterization and the stent, and fortunately they said that I have no permanent damage. I did get there quick enough, however I should have gotten there quicker. The last thing I'll tell you, this is probably the most interesting thing of the night. When they do the catheterization, they don't put you to sleep, but they said, we're going to give you something to keep you, keep your anxiety down or something. So somewhere along in there, I woke up and I don't know what happened, but the lights flashed. I don't know whether they turned something else on. And I said, okay. I said, they're here, they're coming for me. Dr. Rajiv said, no, you're not going anywhere. You're going to be okay. And I'm here and I'm okay. But I want to do a huge shout out to West Georgia. We don't realize how fortunate we are to have that facility there. I drove about 20 minutes from my house to get there. And within an hour and a half, they're doing a heart cast. So we're very, very, very fortunate that we've got that facility and those people there. So thank you.
Is much more lighthearted than that. We're very happy to have you with us and thankful that West Georgia Health was able to help you in that difficult situation. Tripp's picking on me because we just recently had doing the NCAA brackets and at the foundation office, and I chose North Carolina State University, which is where I went to school. And of course, it's been almost 40 years or maybe more than 40 years since we've been to the Final Four. So we're excited that NC State's going to attempt to tackle Zach Edey and Purdue, it might be a tough road to hoe, but we're excited. The last time they were there, I was in college there, and I'm 59 years old. So pull for the Wolfpack.
Before you leave, on the boys and girls in the Final Four. Let's not miss that. They're on both sides, boys and girls, right?
Girl power.
I didn't mean to create that.
That's okay. Mine is very lighthearted. The Sons of Lafayette will be presenting a spring concert on April 13th and 14th. So I'll have tickets next week, should anybody here for that.
Thank you.
Okay?
Playing off of Randy's heart answer. May 29th, we're having another blood drive, 3rd or 4th. We're a little bit behind. There's a few cards on the tables where you can go ahead and register. Please, please, please give blood. It saves lives. No time.
I've been watching Braves baseball and listening to Braves baseball since they came to town or came to Atlanta in the 60s. In the 80s, when I was in college, Dale Murphy was my favorite baseball player. And I'm excited to say that Dale Murphy has agreed to come to LaGrange on August 27th to help the Boy Scouts with a fundraiser that will be at Oak Fusky, which you will see more information about coming soon, but I just want to get that on your calendar as soon as possible. Thank you.
And then the most lighthearted note of the day. I never thought I would stand up here and brag about waking up in bed with a 70-year-old woman. But this morning I did. The ever-fetching Mrs. Stuck turned 70 today.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you all. Randy, we're so glad you're okay. You know, my takeaway is, and I'll tell Megan this tonight, yard work creates heart attacks. That's right, that's right. No, we're so glad you're okay. So I do want to invite Molly up to introduce our speaker today. First of all, let's thank Molly for her great work in membership this year. She's worked really hard. I appreciate all of you folks. How many members have we had?
Gosh,
16?
yeah, something like that. And we had a nice net up and
Yeah.
some things were recognized there in the district.
So it's been a good year. So I thank Molly for that. Molly?
Well, thank you for that, but membership is definitely a team effort. It's taken everyone here. So just continue to invite people. As you know, these are such enriching times and great fellowship. So I want to take this opportunity to plug membership. So just keep that up as well, because it's definitely a teamwork. So I'm really privileged today to introduce our speaker, Dina Little, and she is the founder and director of Storybook Farm. I knew a little about Storybook Farm because I grew up out in the country, and Storybook Farm was on the way to Opelika from our house near Casita. And I really learned a little more about it when one Christmas I got a letter, and I got these several Christmases in a row that said, "Merry Christmas, we made a donation in your name, and this is our Christmas present." And I thought, well, that was it's so wonderful. So we all think about philanthropic giving at the times of the holidays, and it helps us get to know more of these organizations. But a little about Dina and Storybook. Every fairy tale begins with a spark of magic and imagination. For Storybook Farm, it was Dina Little's unwavering spirit. With the soul of a writer and the heart of a dreamer, Dina's journey began in Atlanta, where her love for horses was kindled by her beloved grandfather. This early passion bloomed into a lifelong equestrian pursuit. And in 2002, it inspired her to sell her bakery in Atlanta, move to Auburn, and lay the foundations of Storybook Farm. Her dream was ambitious yet clear: to transform the lives of children facing profound adversity. Her venture began as a leap of faith with a trusty dog, a duo of plucky ponies, and a noble horse, all ignited by Dina's passion to offer children exceptional educational experiences that foster hope and set them on a path to promising adult lives. Storybook Farm's evolution, from its beginnings with just 3 children to now empowering the lives of over 3,500 participants annually, remains rooted in its original ethos to provide these transformative experiences at no cost to families. And so the pages turn. With each child's smile and newfound confidence, this enchanted farm weaves their story into an ongoing fairy tale for many. Dana, welcome.
I appreciate that. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Molly, for the lovely introduction. Thank you for the technical support. Everyone will appreciate that in just 1 second. We're so happy to be here, myself and Dana, who is our program manager at Storybook. We don't get out of the farm a lot, so this was a beautiful time and place for us to come in and share what our passion is, which is helping kids. We can probably click to the next slide. So as Molly mentioned, children are close to my heart. I am a lifelong equestrian. I was introduced at a very young age to the beauty and majesty of horses in particular, and always had a dog by my side. And I think if I asked each one of you to reflect back on your childhood, I think that all of us could remember a time where things were difficult, some more difficult than others. I can raise my hand to that. I grew up in Atlanta. From the outside of my household looking in, it looked pretty nice. My father was a businessman. I had siblings, I had opportunities. I had a great education at Westminster, and I thought, life was pretty great. But on the inside of that household, there was a lot of heartache, a lot of dysfunction. I grew up with, unfortunately, 2 parents that one had a lot of mental health issues, and there were times that were really tough. Fortunately, my grandfather and grandmother lived around the corner, and they were a huge part of my childhood in that I didn't even really realize at the time the impact that they had, and they kind of pulled me out of a very chaotic home life. But you don't realize that as a child. You don't have that perspective looking back that I have now as an adult. But I know that my grandparents and those horses that I had the privilege of riding and caring for and traveling with and all of those things, that really rescued me and put me on a path that was full of opportunity and promise, and gave me a chance to build confidence. And when I looked back, when I moved to Auburn, I thought, I have the opportunity and I have the resources to be able to do something like what I had the opportunity to do for other kids. And Auburn's quite small in comparison to Buckhead. And I thought there'd be a handful of kids every now and again that could use some help. And what happened was this explosive growth. And within several months of me starting Storybook, I had a huge waiting list of families that wanted to be involved. And when I started the farm, it was really centered around kids that were struggling with terminal illness. They were on a very hard path. Their family was on a very difficult path. And then also children that had suffered profound loss, the death of a parent, the death of a sibling, their whole traumatic experiences would dominate their life. And I knew that these animals could do something for them. But what I didn't realize is that it's pretty universal. And there's a lot of adversity and a lot of childhoods. And that looks like a lot of different things. Dana can talk so much and has shared so much with me because she was in the school system for so many years. And what we've been able to create at Storybook is really magical, because the horse and the dogs and the nature and all the programming that we do levels that playing field, and it gives kids an opportunity to build hope and build a future. And that's basically what Dana and I have the privilege of doing each day. So we believe that adversity should not set the limits for a child. Let's see what's going on next slide. So this is the kids. I think that they unfortunately are not with us, but this is a video that we showed at our Kentucky Derby Day event last year. And it's sort of the kids welcoming. And to that end, we have a little giveaway. So you'll see some cards on the table that's like, nice to meet you. So it is so nice to meet y'all. If you could fill those out, we'd love to do a drawing for 2 tickets to our Kentucky Derby event, which I'll share with you about in a little bit in this little festive bag. Yes, thank you.
This is the only place in Lee County that you can do every day. Welcome to Storybook. Welcome to Storybook. Welcome to Storybook. Welcome to Storybook. Welcome. Welcome to Storybook. My favorite thing about Storybook Farms is animals. I have read the fancy to Mr. Banks and he loves it. Not really. What does he do? Why is he not doing this? Because he just lays around. I couldn't wait to ride my new horse, and I just really was excited to meet my buddy too. What did you learn about horses? Exactly what he eats a lot. I know Prince Charming because he makes me smile. Most favorite part? Probably seeing my buddy. The library is really cool because they're like every single book in the world. I read the books to the captain love. It makes me feel happy and loved. Storybook Farm has a garden too, and that's interesting to me because farms don't have gardens. Running Blue Rabbit calms me down a little bit. He's just kind. I do activities, games, and even have fun with my friends. My mom and my brother and my sister and my dad come to Storybook all with me. I walk the dogs around and I do a lot of things with the dogs. I pet them really much. I didn't know that there's kids that are ones that have autism like you. Proud. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for making me smile. Thank you, Storybook. Thank you, Claire, for making me smile. Thanks, Storybook. Thank you, Corey, for making me smile. Thank you, Storybook.
Yay, thank you. A little happy from the kids. So the problem is that there's a lot of children out there that are sad. They have anxiety, depression, they're fearful, they have pain emotionally, physically, and all that sort of generates a general hopelessness for these children. And we believe we have the solution, and that's Storybook Farm. Because at the farm, these kids are coming from broken homes or abusive situations, kids that are home by themselves, lonely, have few friends, few animals. When they're at the farm, they're building these wonderful relationships with these great Auburn University students that volunteer with us. They are learning math skills, science skills, reading skills. When you guys talked about literacy, I almost had to hold myself down in the seat because obviously the name of Storybook Farm, literacy is a huge part of the farm. Every animal is named after a character in literature. Every place at Storybook is named after a fictitious place in literature. And all of our efforts lie in education. And so literacy, I cannot tell you how strongly I feel about it. Growing up, I was either riding a horse or reading a book, probably about riding a horse. But the point being that for a lot of our kids, I mean, that can provide an escape from the reality that they're facing every day. And so we believe that we've hit on a great recipe of wonderful college mentors who give of their time, several hundred a week, coupled with these amazing animals, coupled with a beautiful farm, great program director. And the kids are just empowered. Their families are empowered. They get to meet other parents who are in similar challenging circumstances. And building that sense of community is priceless. When someone believes in you, and you have a whole force of people behind you saying over and over and over, I can do it. You can do it. We can do it together. You're important. You're special. My goodness, you start to believe that. And for these families, they need that. They're riding a rough road of a lot of hardship, isolation, anxiety, despair. And at the farm, that just pretty much melts away. What do we have next? So that's us. You can probably pop to the next slide. I think it's some photos. So you can see we do a lot of different activities. So some of the things that Dana does with the math and the reading and the science is in the garden, they're measuring out plots of land. They're measuring out how much water and how much fertilizer and how much seeds and all of these things. Math is just everywhere. We literally live in a laboratory of science. And so at every turn, the kids are learning concepts that they can take with them in school. We have a library, as Henry mentioned, with every book in the world. So should y'all need something, please don't hesitate to reach out. The perspective of a 6-year-old, don't you love it? So every book in the world is there. The kids read to the dogs. A lot of these children need reinforcement and having an opportunity to read to an unjudgmental, I guess just really a friend. They're really reading to a little friend who sits beside them, and they're able to read out loud, which is a lot easier than reading to peers or in a school situation. What else do we have? So we serve a lot of different situations and children that are facing a lot of different things. You can kind of see that pie chart. When I first started Storybook, there was an idea that we just worked with children that had physical challenges, because horseback riding is so great for kids that need to build muscle strength and balance and eye-hand coordination, all those things. And so we definitely do, but by and large, it's kids that have experienced lasting trauma. And again, that looks like a lot of different things, and a lot of children that are from low-income houses that would never have an experience like this were it not for a place like Storybook. Some little happiness right there. That's Colonel Fitzwilliam on our left from Pride and Prejudice, our golden doodle. And on the right is Sebastian, who is from obviously The Little Mermaid. So the kids get a big kick out of all those names. And then the way we fund this program, because we don't charge anything for it. And over the course of 22 years that I've been doing this, we've served close to 20,000 children. And that's because of wonderful people like you and organizations like this that come alongside us and to be able to provide this to the families, because otherwise it would really just be cost prohibitive. So one of the fun things that we get to do every year is our Kentucky Derby Day event, which is coming up this year on May the 4th. Have any of y'all ever attended, or hopefully you've at least heard about it? It's the largest party in Alabama that is a Kentucky Derby party. This is verified by Old Forester, who should know. So there's an awful lot of mint juleps, not to be beaten out by Tito's. There's an awful lot of vodka flowing as well. We're all about some libations and happiness there. But this event is the cornerstone of our Bright Futures campaign. So we kicked this campaign off last year with the goal of raising $3.6 million over the course of 3 years. Proud to say that we exceeded that, our first year goal of $900,000. And we're well on our way to 1.2 million this year. And the reason why we're doing this is because we need to build capacity. Storybook has a beautiful facility that is 17,000 square feet under roof, houses 18 horses, a couple of miniature horses, a couple of miniature donkeys. We've got 5 dogs, 7 cats. So we have a whole array of things, and on a beautiful 51-acre farm where we have several miles of nature trails and different activity stations. But what we need to do is to be able to go deeper with that programming. We waitlist so many children every year, and unfortunately Dana has the job that I quickly handed that right off, to talk to parents and when they're inquiring about the farm and how can they get their children involved. And she unfortunately has to have those tough conversations and say, this is wonderful and we would love for you to come and tour and we want to meet your family and support you in any way, but we're waitlisting until August, is basically what she's saying now. And that's hard. I mean, that's just not only hard, completely unacceptable for a parent and a family that have just suffered tremendous loss. We've had, just last week, a family reached out and mid-January, her husband died of a heart attack and in his 30s and leaving behind two little tiny children. And so I ran to Dana and said, I'm about to send you an email and I need you to call this lady and I need you to tell her to come over this afternoon. She's like, oh, that's so fantastic. What are we going to do? And I said, whatever we need to do. And that's why we're doing this campaign. It's for families just like this. So the money that we raise at Kentucky Derby Day is a giant part of that puzzle. We have the pleasure of writing grants to wonderful foundations that support us, individuals support us. But this event really encapsulates who we are because it takes that spirit of Derby. You always have the underdog. You always have that horse that's the long shot. You have the horse that's got that great story. And when you're watching all that coverage on NBC and you're right there with that trainer and that owner and the unlikeliness of them being on the biggest stage in the world for thoroughbred racing. And that's what we do for these kids. We put them on stage. We put them in a place where they can thrive. And we do it through fundraisers like this. So what we'd like to do today is give one of you guys 2 tickets to this event. We want you to not only come yourself, but we want you to bring a slew of people with you because every dollar that is raised, we have wonderful partners. Our expense ratio is quite low, particularly for an event that has about 700 to 800 people. And it's just a day-long celebration of storybook, of animals, of children. So if you can fill out those little cards, we'll take a little drawing as well. But this is a little video of the event, so you can kind of see Storybook turns into a bunch of festivities on May the 4th. Oh, doesn't that abruptly stop? Okay, great. Thank you. So on your table, there's an event guide from last year's. There's also our impact report from 2023, as well as invitation to Kentucky Derby Day. There's lots of information on our website about the event, and we're more than happy to answer any questions. There's some sponsorships still available and some tickets. So in about a month from now, we're all gathering on what we pray is a beautiful day like this to celebrate the kids at Storybook Farm. Y'all have any questions or anything? Yes, ma'am.
So what does a day at Storybook Farm look like? Is it on Saturday? What are your hours and what's it like?
What's a day look like? Oh, a day never looks like what I have planned. I can tell you that. I have lovely combined weather, children, animals, college students, all together, none of which ever do exactly what they're supposed to do. So the day is hopefully made up of lots of kids. So we are open Monday through Friday. We welcome a lot of school systems and other organizations that bring groups of children into like a field trip type of setting. And then every afternoon we work with our individual families that come out after school. So we operate from about 9 in the morning till about 7 in the evening. When we've got the additional daylight, and year round. So we have programming spring, summer, and fall. And because our Auburn student body is so important to our programming, we follow their academic calendar. So when they are not in school, like over a summer break between spring semester and summer semester for about 10 days, they're not in school. So we're not in programming during that time. But other than that, we run full tilt every day.
Other questions?
Sure. Oh, any other questions?
What about, so I know you serve like this in Troup County. Any idea just to?
For Troup County, yes. You know what? We're only about 35 minutes down the road and you gain an hour. So it's almost like you've never even left home, which is beautiful. Oh, actually, when Tripp and I were discussing that a while back, I started doing some looking at our demographics, and close to 40% of our children reside in Troup County, which was surprising to myself as well. We serve 6 counties in Georgia and Alabama. And so kids drive a couple hours even to come and participate at Storybook. So we would love to extend our invitation for children to come to the farm from here, and anybody that knows any teachers or school systems that would like to be involved in field trips, or individual families that could benefit from the programming that we're doing, please reach out. We're here to serve and to grow and to provide these unmatched experiences. There is literally nothing like Storybook within 500 miles of here. There's no organization that combines education, nature, and animals in an environment like Storybook does, and provides all of this and all of these experiences at no cost. And it's not a one and done. Storybook serves these families year after year after year. We've had kids that have been with me 15 years. And really mark the day of the week by the day that they are able to come out to the farm. Yes, sir.
First question was, or is, what was the age range of
the participants? So about 2 years old would be our youngest. And then we work with, I'm not sure if you guys have an organization similar here, but we, in our area, we have the Exceptional Foundation, which are adults that have intellectual disabilities. And so they are also groups that come to Storybook. There's about 25 youth nonprofits that we support as well. Boys and Girls Clubs and all of those organizations come and utilize our programming as well for their participants. So when you factor in that, then you have adults. But the main range for us is going to be 2 years old till about 16.
And did you say that you have programming in the summer, or you don't?
Yes, we do. Year round, with the exception of the time that Auburn University is on their semester breaks. But other than that, we're full tilt. And we would love for each one of you guys to come and visit. It's beautiful. We'd love to give you a private tour of the farm, and you can see the kids there and some of the magic that happens, and get a little behind the scenes tour. I'm sure y'all are animal lovers. Who has a dog? Okay. We've got 5 that y'all would love. Who has a horse? Oh, I love that. A lot of times I ask that question trepidatiously because nobody raises their hand. So I'm excited to say that the horse lovers in you will really love the farm. And again, we're only about 30 minutes down the road. Yeah, do we have everybody's good cats? Oh, yes, sir.
Just have one quick, is there a program or a track that y'all focus on autism or I'm just trying to think, I have a couple people in mind, but.
Sure, we do work with a lot of children that are on that spectrum. And David can talk a lot about the programming. Each thing is tailored to meet the needs of the participants. And so we create, one of the things probably people don't realize is that all of the programming is unique to Storybook. We create literally everything in-house. And so every semester we have a different theme. This semester it's critters across continents. And so kids are learning about endangered species and the different continents in the world and the habitats and mannerisms and communication and all of that kind of stuff from all the different animals. We had every time that we do something, we go just one step deeper into that. And so for children that are on that spectrum and have those types of communication problems, the farm is just perfect for it, because so much of this happens and is experienced without having to say a word. These animals are able to make those types of connections. And when we've seen kids take their first steps at the farm, speak their first words at the farm, parents are regularly crying at the farm, not from sadness, but from joy to be able to see their kids participate and do something fun. And the other great thing that you prompted me to remember is that Storybook is providing all this programming for the entire family. So their brothers, when you saw Blakely say her brother and her sister and her dad, in that cute little list, but I hope she never loses. That's the way it is. So everybody comes to Storybook. And that's really unusual, to have a program that welcomes siblings or not the target child. Because, let's face it, what's going on in that family is going on in the family. Nothing is ever isolated. And those relationships need to be built. And for a parent to be able to come to Storybook and to watch all their kids doing all kinds of fun things together is priceless. I mean, I'm a parent of two sadly grown children that I would shrink down in a minute if I could. But, you know, I miss that time with them. They're in their 20s and living their life and doing their thing, which is wonderful. But at the same point, I remember what that was like as when they were children. And, you know, you just want to build those memories and those relationships.
Anything else?
Okay, you ready for the best day of your life for someone? Oh, one more. This is about to be May 4th. The first Saturday in May is about to become your favorite day of the year. Besides your birthday, your anniversary, all those other significant things, children's birthdays. Okay. David, do you want to share?
I want you to, because
This is how we keep things above board. I don't have my glasses. This is what happens when one is in their 50s.
Steve Boatner.
Yes.
Steve Boatner.
Steve Boatner, we cannot wait to see you in 5 short weeks. I like that. Congratulations. Yay! We'll reach back out to you with some details. Y'all are so sweet to have us. Thank you. It's a beautiful day and with beautiful people. We're really proud to be a part of it. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your story and sharing the story about Storybook. It's a really unique place, and if you have a chance to visit, it's just a beautiful setting. And as she said, they serve lots of kids from Fruit County, so thank you for your good work. In honor of you being here, we'll make a donation to Polio Plus, which is Rotary International's effort to eradicate polio worldwide. So next week, we're working on the program, so it's a surprise. April 17th, it's a surprise to me, to be honest with you. So, April 17th, we're going to have an author of the book Tenacious who's going to come speak to us. April 24th, Dr. Danielle Fallon, who's the Dean of Emory-Rollins School of Public Health, will be with us. And then on May 1st, Sally Bethea, who is the founder of Chattahoochee Riverkeeper. So mark your calendars and please plan to be here. So we do want to grab a picture with our literacy friends after, and we'd like to grab a picture with you too as well. But thank you all for your time today. We're adjourned. Thank you. You can see it really well.
You good?
Yeah, we're good.
We worked on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband thought we went for Christmas a couple of years ago. Because I had a horse as a little girl. Yeah, and then he bought me one. But I lived on the farm. Right? Many people don't think that, but I grew up on the farm.
My brothers and sisters